We just got an I-601A waiver approved, and it took three years and 2 months, which is actually pretty fast right now for the I-601A waiver. But I want to give you a piece of advice. Don't choose a lawyer based on how fast they tell you that the case will take, unless you do some research on your own to figure out if they actually know what they're talking about. The reason I tell you that is that this specific client, whose case that we got approved in 3 years and 2 months, they actually decided to leave my law firm and hire another firm after we had filed the case for them, and filed a great case, by the way. They got approved with no request for evidence. They decided to hire another firm who told them that they could get their I-601A approved faster than I could. So they paid an extra expense to move their file to another law firm. Basically, all that law firm did was file a G-28 to say that they were now the lawyer on the case. And I believe they may have also did a FOIA to find out what was done so far on the case, which, happily we gave them a copy of all the file as well. They reviewed the files and saw that we did everything correctly. So all the other lawyer did at the end of the day was say, hey, your lawyer did a great job. Everything is filed correctly. And now we registered ourselves as your lawyer. Then fast forward, the client came back to us after he realized that the other lawyer lied to him. He wasn't able to get it approved any faster just because he registered himself as the attorney on record, and nothing actually accelerated by adding that lawyer. He came back to us, we registered again as the lawyer in the case, and now the case has been approved. That lawyer lied to the client, who told him that he could get his case approved faster by switching to him. That's not true, okay? Apparently, this client did not actually learn the lesson, because now we can file for the consular process. And by the way, we also filed a PIP for the client, so that is already filed with the I-131A. It's filed, so if everything goes okay with the PIP, he could do his adjustment. But this specific client was very anxious to get his interview in Guatemala, and he asked me, is it possible to get my interview in 3 or 4 months? And I told him, no, it's not. Before the pandemic, consular processing was taking 6 to 8 months. After the pandemic, what I've seen in my office is it takes about a year to a year and a half. And I told him we'll be praying that it happens faster for him, because he does have a wife who is pregnant, and he wants to get everything resolved as soon as possible. I explained to him the process, that we could get a case expedited even in certain circumstances, which I don't believe that in their family they have that right now. But I explained to him the process to request and to get expedited, or also to get Congress involved. Regardless, the client went ahead and listened to la gente en la calle. He listened to people on the street and someone else that he knew who told him that they got their case approved faster, which maybe was or wasn't true, but it was years ago. And it was also, every case is different. But he decided to go with the lawyer that person filed. And apparently this lawyer told him and guaranteed him that he's going to get an interview in Guatemala within 3 or 4 months. That's an absolute lie. The client, there's no lawyer who can promise you anything about when the government will give you an interview. But I just want to tell you that story because I'm pretty certain that the client at the end of the day is going to come back to me like he did last time, after his other lawyer lied to him, and he figures out that it was, he told him what he wanted to hear. He came in saying, can you get me the interview in 3 or 4 months? And then there was a lawyer who was willing to say, yes, I can do that. But it's not true, okay? Just because another lawyer tells you that they can do something faster doesn't mean that that's a better lawyer. If anything, it might mean they're a dishonest lawyer. One thing that's different from our law firm, we're going to tell you the truth. If we can or can't get your case approved quickly, we're going to tell you the real processing times, not only what they post online, because some cases they don't post certain processing times, like the consular process. We tell you what we're seeing real time with our real clients in the office. So we can only tell you what we've seen in the office. That's what any lawyer can do, and they can also check processing times. But if anybody's telling you, hey, I can get you approved faster, they're not telling you the truth. But if they want to tell you why they could get your case approved faster, ask them how they're going to get your case approved faster than another lawyer, because they have to have a plan. They have to do a strategy, do they plan to file a request for expedite? Do they plan to get Congress involved? What is their plan to get your case approved in 3 or 4 months? Because it's actually not likely. So just a word to the wise. Hire a lawyer based on their reviews, based on their experience, based on your comfort with them, based on their honesty with you, and not because they're telling you what you want to hear.